It's Tuesday, and I've got a forecast for you today that honestly feels like something out of a weather textbook, the kind of thing you don't see very often. Two storms, Alda and Umberto, are setting up just off the Florida coast to pull off one of the rarest atmospheric dances we ever get to see. And that's not all. As if that wasn't enough, we've got a major heat wave getting ready to bake millions of us across the United States, sending temperatures soaring. Plus, there's a sneaky little area in the Gulf that could try to spin up into something tropical by this weekend. A lot is on the table, so let's break this down together. Right now, sitting off Florida, we've got Tropical Storm Alda. It doesn't look like much yet, just some bubbling convection surrounded by dry air, almost like it's gasping for moisture. But don't be fooled. By later today, Alda should cross that threshold and officially strengthen into a hurricane. And just when you think that's the whole story, here comes Umberto, lurking right next to it. These two aren't just neighbors. They're practically orbiting each other like they're locked in some kind of stormy relationship. I'm telling you, they're flirting with one another in the atmosphere, and the closeness is unreal. Umberto is already lifting north, its outflow brushing Bermuda as we speak, while Alda is spreading its influence across the east coast. I've had viewers writing in about the cloudy skies in the Carolinas, the rain showers in Virginia, even cloud cover stretching into New York and New England. And yes, you can blame Alda for that. This storm has been flexing, stretching its arms across the eastern US. But here's where things get fascinating. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, these storms are going to pull off something called the Fujiwara effect. That's when two cyclones get so close that they start to spin around each other, almost like two dancers caught in the same rhythm. It doesn't happen often, and when it does, it's mesmerizing and dangerous. The last time we saw a big Fujiwara interaction, it triggered catastrophic flooding. This time, the setup is different. Umberto is faster, stronger, and racing north, while Alda gets dragged along in its wake. It's like Umberto is taking Alda by the hand, pulling it out to sea. But don't think Bermuda is off the hook. By late Wednesday into Thursday, Alda is expected to be close enough to hammer the island with hurricane-force winds, storm surge, and flooding rain. If you've got family, friends, or interests in Bermuda, this is the time to pay attention. Impacts there look very real. Now, once this dance ends, once Umberto races northeast and Alda drifts east, the tropics will quiet down a bit. But only a bit, because as we head into the weekend, I've got my eyes on the northern Gulf. There's some bubbling convection out there, and the models are hinting at a weak tropical system trying to take shape. Odds are low, but if it does pull itself together, it would likely push right into the Gulf Coast. Not a monster storm, but enough for localized flooding and some gusty winds. It's one of those keep an eye on it scenarios, and it's not just the tropics we're watching. The mainland US is about to face another storyline: the heat. This late-season heat wave is no joke. By the weekend, temperatures across the Great Plains and Midwest will soar into the upper 80s and even low 90s. Places like Minnesota, Michigan, and the Dakotas, areas that should be savoring crisp fall days, will instead be roasting like it's still midsummer. Meanwhile, the Northeast gets the exact opposite. Cool, refreshing air, highs only in the 50s and 60s. A tale of two countries, right on the same map. By Saturday, we're likely looking at some of the warmest October temperatures on record for parts of the central US. This heat dome is stubborn, and as it lingers, it'll keep building back into next week. If you're a fan of fall sweaters and chilly mornings, you're going to be disappointed, because for much of the country, it's still shorts and t-shirt weather. Now, I want to take you with me on this journey across the tropics today, because it is busy out there. Not just Alda, not just Umberto. No, we've got fresh waves rolling off Africa. We've got the Gulf simmering with potential. And we've got the Caribbean acting like a sponge, just waiting to soak up all that tropical moisture. So buckle in with me, because this isn't just a forecast. This is the story of a hurricane season that refuses to slow down. First stop, the Caribbean. Overnight, we saw spotty showers sweeping through the islands, but heavier rain slammed into Central America, Guatemala, El Salvador, parts of Honduras. And what's fueling this? Fresh tropical waves. One of them looks weak right now, like it's limping across the Atlantic. But just behind it? That's where things get interesting. That second wave is healthier, more organized, and the European model, one of the most reliable ones we have, is already hinting at 50, maybe even 60% odds of development as it pushes closer to the Caribbean next week. That's not background noise. That's the drumbeat of what could be the next named storm. But let's not get too far ahead, because Bermuda, my friends, you are front and center tonight. Imelda is just shy of hurricane strength as I'm speaking. 70 miles per hour winds right now. 4 more miles per hour, and boom, it's official. And with that, the warnings are already shifting gears. Watches will become warnings. Preparations are underway. And by tomorrow night, Bermuda will be staring down a hurricane that could briefly push sustained winds to 90 miles per hour. That's 145 kilometers per hour, with gusts even higher. Now, here's the thing. Bermuda is one of the most prepared places in the world when it comes to hurricanes. You folks have seen it all before, and I know many of you are already buttoning things down. But this one's still dangerous. We're talking 2 to 4 inches of rain, coastal flooding, and seas that are already stacked up high from Umberto spinning offshore. Add Imelda on top of that, those waters around the island will be violent, no matter if the core passes just south or right over. I've seen some hints that the center may scrape just south of Bermuda. And if that trend continues, maybe you dodge the very worst winds. But make no mistake, this will still be a pounding. Let's zoom out a little. While Bermuda is bracing, the Bahamas are finally catching a break. Flooding rains there are easing as Imelda lifts northward. The Carolinas, Georgia, Florida, you're not in the bullseye, but you are feeling it with rough surf, dangerous rip currents, and beach erosion that's been ongoing for days. Even when these storms don't make landfall, they carve their mark into the coast. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Once Imelda pushes through Bermuda and races off toward the Canadian Maritimes later this week, we turn our attention closer to home, the Gulf of Mexico. The American model, along with the Canadian and the Icon models, are all whispering the same thing. There might be quick, sneaky development spinning up in the northern Gulf this weekend. And with water temperatures still running abnormally warm, it wouldn't take much. Maybe it's just a burst of tropical rain. Maybe it spins into something more. Either way, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, the Florida Panhandle, you're on my radar. And don't think I've forgotten about Africa, because another wave is already rolling off the continent, aiming west. Every single one of these has to be watched this time of year, because October in the tropics, it doesn't let up. So let's put this all together. We've got Umberto spinning away, thankfully sparing Bermuda from a direct shot. We've got Imelda making its move, a fast-hitting hurricane that'll slam into Bermuda tomorrow night. We've got the Gulf showing signs of mischief, and new tropical waves stacking up like planes on a runway out of Africa. Folks, this is what late-season hurricane action looks like. Relentless, busy, and dangerous. And I want to say this directly. To everyone watching in Bermuda, my thoughts are with you. I know many of you check in down in the comments, and I'll be looking for you there tonight and tomorrow. Stay safe, take those preparations seriously, and know that you're not going through this alone. We're tracking it together, start to finish. Hurricane season doesn't end until November 30th, and as I keep telling you, it's going to stay active straight through October. So stick with me, stay locked in, because every day brings something new, and I'll be here to break it all down for you. Stay safe, stay ready, and we'll ride this season out together.